All week, KPBS has been on San Diego's climate crisis, and tonight we look at how these demonstrations played out locally. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen walked with students from San Diego High School as they rallied downtown.
What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now!
Students from San Diego High School marched from their campus in Balboa Park to City Hall. This was one of dozens of walkouts that took place in schools across the county.
And it's something that surprisingly not many people are doing much about.
15-year-old Nina Tipton is one of the organizers. She says young people have the most at stake when it comes to a warming planet.
I think it's important for us for my generation to be involved because we're going to see more impacts than previous generations, and we still haven't gotten the chance to put in our laws and our votes, so when we get to that point, we're prepared to do so.
Once the students arrived at their rally, several came up to the microphone to give speeches. Many praised 16-year-old Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg for inspiring a global movement of young people. Sophomore Aaliyah Castiglione says it's important to work for local change too.
I think that San Diego as a city needs to go carbon neutral, and we also need to be leaders as a coastal city in the protests for nationwide and global change.
Castiglione says she hopes her peers stay engaged on climate change and register to vote as soon as they're able. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Coast-to-coast demonstrations to call attention to climate change. This was the scene across the U.S. and around the world today as students skipped class and took to the streets. These were the walkouts in Washington, D.C. Over in London, the leader of the United Kingdom's opposition party, Jeremy Corbyn, joined the demonstrations. He also spoke at a rally in Westminster. And here at home, there was a big turnout at San Diego Civic Center for a march and a rally. 10 News reporter Rita Nakano met with many teenage activists who say their voice and their futures matter.
Good evening. Teenagers marched from San Diego High School to the Civic Center courtyard here, hoping to make an impact 3 days before the UN summit.
At 12:20,
it's a fight against time. Time, they say, the planet doesn't have.
Climate change is the existential threat of our generation.
Hundreds of students gathered at San Diego High School to join the climate change walkout. Their purpose, urge world leaders to take aggressive steps to combat climate change.
Celsius or Fahrenheit, it doesn't matter. Neither is right when we're killing the earth and no one's putting up a fight. I might cry, but would it matter? Ice caps melt and shatter. Now the only thing that's cool is your pool on Privileged Avenue. Do I sound mad to you?
Point Loma High School senior Kisi Apak performs her spoken word piece, Madness. Being 17, she says she doesn't have an income and doesn't have the right to vote. So this is her way to show Mother Nature that she cares.
This is all I know how to do, is write and talk and, get out and take action. That's the only way I know how.
Many say they were inspired by Greta Thunberg, the 16-year-old Swedish climate change activist who has now become the face of the movement. Activists here say San Diegans should be more involved, considering our geography.
I think that San Diego as a city needs to go carbon neutral, and we also need to be leaders as a coastal city in the protests for nationwide and global change.
Change they hope to see in the world.
When does it end?
Before it's too late.
So yeah, I'll pray with my hands and my feet and my voice, and I'll pray that you join me before we don't have a choice.
No more coal, no more oil.
Several area school districts, including San Diego Unified, passed resolutions in support of this campaign. Now, some form of parental consent was required for the students to walk out. Rita Nakano, 10 News.
In the meantime, Mission Bay High School students marched to Kendall Frost March today as part of the global climate strike. They told News 8 that protecting the climate now means protecting the world they'll live in tomorrow.
Earth is warming up. We don't want that for the future of our kids, especially us as we grow up.
It's not even a problem. Like, people think it's okay.
As students, we're very lucky to be able to get this hands-on experience and really feel like we really are making a difference and that we have an impact.
They were joined by students from San Diego City College, Rewild, Mission Bay, San Diego 350, and the San Diego Audubon Society.
Students from across San Diego and the globe taking matters into their own hands, and they are out protesting what we're not doing for the global crisis.
Yeah, News 8's Chris Groh is live in San Diego High with how local students are coordinating their movement. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Stella and Eric, and this is a worldwide call for action, one that San Diego students are taking up as well. We will see middle schoolers, high schoolers, and even college students. Their message, it's pretty simple. They want more to be done for their future here on Earth.
It impacts us the most because we're going to be living on this planet for longer, and we have to deal with the effects of climate change.
And so students around the county will be participating and joining those across the globe that have already walked out. It will likely start around noon today. Lily Laundrie, who you just heard from, goes to Bonita Vista High School in Chula Vista. They'll be leaving class and marching to the football field to protest. Here at San Diego High School, students plan to walk out and march to City Hall to call on the need for climate action now. If you're wondering if students will be disciplined, we've seen at least 2 school boards, both San Diego Unified and Sweetwater Union High School, that actually passed resolutions in support of the action. According to board trustee Richard Barrera with San Diego Unified, no student will be penalized for participating in the walkout.
It's giving young people a sense that they can do something, and that they can step up.
And if you're wondering where this inspiration came from worldwide for students to take action, look no further than 16-year-old Greta Thunberg from Sweden. She has been a major climate activist at such a young age, and next week she will be testifying in front of the UN Council. Back to you, Stella and Eric.
Students across the world and San Diego County are expected to walk out of class to demand action on climate change. 10 News reporter Natay Holmes joins us live at High Tech High in Point Loma. And Natay, this expected to be the largest walkout on climate change.
That's right, and students are demanding that adults take action. Here at High Tech High, students will be walking out of class starting around 10:30 this morning. They will then take a bus to the downtown area and will be gathering at City Hall for a rally for the rest of the school day.
It's going to show adults that they need to take action now because we don't have any more time.
We're in a crisis right now, and there's just not enough being done.
Now, students at University City High School will also be walking out of class and meeting with hundreds of middle school students for a rally. In all, dozens of schools across the county and many across the country are expected to take part in the global climate strike. The movement started with Greta Thunberg, a Swedish student who is credited with raising global awareness. Now, her mission is to hold politicians accountable for their lack of action. Several school districts in our area, including the San Diego Unified School District, passed resolutions supporting the youth-led global campaign. Now, some adults are listening. Nearly 1,000 employees at Amazon will also be walking off of their jobs in support, saying that their company's climate pledge is just not enough. Live in Point Loma, Natay Holmes, 10 News.
Well, some local high school and college students walked out of class today as part of an international movement to raise awareness about climate change.
Our Jeff McAdam is live downtown where some of them walked to City Hall. Jeff.
Yeah, guys, it was quite the turnout, and you could tell at least most of these kids weren't just looking for an excuse to cut class. No, they were on a mission, most of them very well informed, and some had some pretty interesting thoughts. Take a listen.
Oh, hey, hey.
Some carrying signs, others just carrying a beat. As they push down sidewalks in busy city streets in San Diego.
We're here protesting because we need change. We really need it.
Olivia Solonen and about 200 of her classmates from San Diego High marched about 10 blocks from campus down B Street, hoping to turn heads, bend ears, and maybe change some minds.
As the younger population, we're a real minority. And to just look at the numbers, it's a difficult task, but together like we are right now, we can really accomplish this. And I don't have a doubt in my mind that we can fix this. We can save the Earth.
World leaders will come together on Monday in New York for a climate change summit. The topic of global warming and renewable resources became a matter for the United Nations back in 2015 with the Paris Agreement, with upwards of 195 countries agreeing to limit carbon emissions. But times have changed, and these students hope the world leaders won't forget.
That it's time that we take the issue of climate justice into our own hands.
It includes moderation, plastic, gas, fossil fuels, and just bringing new technologies that just undo what we've done.
Over 1,000 other cities in the U.S. taking part in this strike Friday, too, with kids in Washington, D.C. being some of the first to take to the streets, many of them backing the Green New Deal initiative, which calls for 100% green renewable energy by 2030.
I really think people should contact their senators, contact governors for change, to advocate for change. Contact any politician you can to strive for change.
And when it comes to the matter of whether these absences were excused, the school district didn't exactly address it, but they sent us a 2-page email which kind of details all the reasons why they're in support of some of these environmental changes. It's just things that they've considered themselves, and also including some of the changes they've made to their own school buses here in the last two or 3 years to make them more fuel efficient. From City Hall, Jeff McAdam, Fox 5 News.
Around the world and here in San Diego County, people are taking to the streets in protest today. It is called the Global Climate Strike Movement. You can see a large group of people from Bonita Vista High in Chula Vista taking part in that walkout. The point of the protests, pressuring lawmakers and business leaders to take action to fight climate change.
Millions of people around the world rallied for action on climate change today.
Here in the U.S., hundreds of thousands of young people from coast to coast took to the streets to send a message ahead of next week's United Nations Summit. News 8's Alicia Summers shows us the demonstrations here in San Diego.
I'm asking all of you to act.
People need to recognize that this is the existential threat of our time, and therefore resources, time, and energy have to be allocated to solving it.
What do we want? When do we want it? Now!
20 San Diego schools joined the movement from Westview High to East Lake High in Chula Vista. High Tech High in Point Loma held a rally this morning as well.
It's the youth against climate change. People will listen to us. We're together.
Then the teens took a bus to San Diego High downtown for one big march to City Hall. These students are missing out on their lessons today, so they could teach you one. What would you like to teach us?
I would like to teach that global warming is a real thing and we need to stop it.
And how can we do that?
By getting the governments to do something.
Some of these students are too young to vote, but they're not too young to make their voices heard. What would you ladies like to say?
I would say that you could participate in walkouts such as these. You could also pre-register when you're 16, so make sure to do that.
And what about you? You're 16.
Yeah, I agree. Just pre-register and make sure to let your voice be heard.
They want to help stop the climate crisis and say while there's still time to tackle climate change, it will require an unprecedented effort from all sectors of society. These students are demanding that we all rise to meet this challenge.
So this means that it all comes back to voting.
If we continue at this rate of consumption, then there's not going to be anything left. Our forests are going to be burned down, our oceans are going to be like polluted, and our coral reefs gone. And it's just not a future that I want to see.
Alicia Summers, CBS News 8.
Gracias, Marco. Mañana inicia en Nueva York la Cumbre Mundial de Acción Climática convocada por las Naciones Unidas. En previsión de ello, miles de jóvenes tomaron las calles hoy para exigir a los gobiernos acciones concretas en esta materia. Carlos González estuvo en la manifestación de San Diego y nos tiene un relato de lo ocurrido.
There's a global climate strike.
Las marchas fueron globales. Estudiantes universitarios y de escuelas secundarias o preparatorias mostraron su descontento por la forma en que los gobiernos están manejando el problema del calentamiento global, ahora que se aproxima una reunión sobre este tema en las Naciones Unidas.
Yo siento que es muy difícil decir que no está pasando cuando se puede ver que está cambiando el mundo, el ambiente está cambiando, todos los diferentes huracanes y diferentes desastres nacionales que a lo mejor se pueden decir que bueno, pues siempre ha pasado o van por ciclos o lo que sea. Ahora se tienen que hacer cambios nuevos y desarrollos nuevos que ya no, lo que se hacía antes ya no es suficiente, se tiene que cambiar algo para mejorar cosas.
Lo que dijeron los estudiantes universitarios no varía mucho en lo que hablan y dicen los escolares que son el futuro de esta nación.
El gobierno no está haciendo lo que debe de hacer.
En otras partes del mundo están haciendo algo más.
Estos estudiantes reconocen que el gobierno necesita ayuda por una sencilla razón.
Yo creo que es importante educar a toda la gente ahorita para que en el futuro los pueda ayudar y pueda ayudar al gobierno. Si no ayudamos ahorita para salvar al planeta, ya no vamos a tener futuro nosotros. Estudiantes, estamos jóvenes y nosotros podemos hacer más.
No es una decisión ni un argumento de una generación a otra, es algo que afecta a todos. Ahorita lo que es el ambiente afecta a todos, no importa que seas de los baby boomers, de los millennials, de los Gen Z, no importa, afecta a todos porque es el mismo ambiente.
Definitivamente, una sola tierra, un solo mar, un solo aire. Para Noticias Univisión Regional, Carlos González.
Students across San Diego County skipped class today to protest for more attention to climate change. Students walked out of class all over the country. They actually got permission to miss class for the day without penalty. In our area, small clusters of students participated, far smaller than the larger rallies seen in cities like LA and Miami. Now, critics contend today's demonstrations use the students to support partisan policies. Members of the school board even marched with some of these students.
We support civics engagement, and there's nothing like civic engagement than having students learn about how to organize, how to demonstrate, how to get their message out, how to have agency. So it's learning about what are the critical issues in their local neighborhood, what are they globally, and what can they do to make a difference. And today is an opportunity for them to demonstrate that. So it is a student-organized and directed event. I'm here as an observer and a happy supporter and proud of what our students are doing in order to recognize the importance of climate change and our role in making it happen, and what we need to do urgently to mitigate the climate consequences.
The San Diego Unified School District passed a resolution encouraging students and educators to participate, saying, be it further resolved that the San Diego Unified School District encourages all professional educators to support student Global Climate Walkout events, provided that educational outcomes are demonstrated. Now, we will be following up if any students who participated completed those required projects.
And hundreds of local students walked out of class today as part of a global climate change protest. It comes just days before world leaders gather at the UN Climate Change Summit. 10 News reporter Rena Nakano is live downtown with the message that these students are hoping to send. Rena?
Yeah, good evening. You know, as teenagers, they told me that they don't have a lot of money, they don't have the right to vote, but they do have a voice. And that's why they came right here to the Civic Center courtyard to take action. Hundreds of students gathered at San Diego High School in downtown to join the walkout. High school students from all over San Diego County joined marchers at the Civic Center to join the open mic rally. Many said they would gladly sacrifice going to class today to get their message across, which is to fight for aggressive climate change policies, including reducing carbon emissions, advocating for clean energy, even veganism. They were inspired by Greta Thunberg, the 16-year-old Swedish activist who has now become the face of the movement. And as San Diegans, marchers said they need to act now.
I think that San Diego as a city needs to go carbon neutral, and we also need to be leaders as a coastal city in the protests for nationwide and global change.
Now, several area school districts, including San Diego Unified, passed their resolutions supporting this campaign. Now, for most of the walkouts, some form of parental permission was required. And coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll bring you the story of a girl who performed a spoken word piece she called Climate Change Madness. That's coming up here in 2 hours. Reporting live tonight, I'm Rena Nakano, 10 News.
Chris, thank you. And this morning, students are joining in on a global effort to urge lawmakers to act now to fight climate change.
From London, where students called for an end to the age of fossil fuels, and Hong Kong, where dozens gathered with signs, to right here in San Diego, students at Eastlake High left class to stand up against climate change. As News 8's Alicia Summers can tell us, these kids, they're not alone. We've been seeing other schools doing this here within the last 20 minutes. Alicia.
That's right. We're in front of San Diego High in downtown San Diego. Their youth-led climate change rally is scheduled for noon today. Earlier this morning, we were in Point Loma. We caught up with students from High Tech High.
We live in a capitalist society. Our vote is our dollar. We have to change this. We have to change what's produced for us.
Millions of people around the world are participating in the global climate strike led by 16-year-old climate activist Greta Thunberg. Just in this region, over 20 local schools are participating, from San Marcos to Eastlake High and Chula Vista. Students from High Tech High here in Point Loma, we caught up with this morning, are headed downtown where we're at now to meet up with students from San Diego High, where another rally will start here and travel to City Hall. Students want to help the climate crisis and say while there is still time to tackle climate change, it will require an unprecedented effort from all sectors of the society. These students are demanding that we all rise to meet this challenge.
The earth is being hurt every day and we're not doing anything about it. There's constant pollution and you see, government corruption. Everyone's constantly big corporate names never really want to do anything. They care more about profit than the well-being of where we live.
And this global climate strike is being organized by the Climate Strike Coalition. It is kicking off a week of events to fight climate change. Locally, this is the largest climate demonstration ever organized by San Diego students. We'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Alicia. And right now, San Diego State students are walking out of class and are taking part in that global climate strike. As Alicia just mentioned, this is just one of many walkouts happening around the county, the state, the world. And this is a live picture right now from Chopper 8. Other schools doing the same.
Thousands of students across the country walked out of class today as part of a coordinated protest to save the planet. This was the scene in LA, but plenty of students in San Diego also took part. 10 News reporter Nate Holmes shows us why students are demanding action.
We're the future. We are the ones that are going to make an impact.
Step by step, students march to reach their goal of having a better climate. This morning, students from University City High walked almost half an hour to the rally. They were joined by students from Stanley Middle School.
We feel that it was very nice to come out and support all the other students.
We need students to get involved in activism at a young age, because the younger they are and the better they understand it, the more impacts they can make in the future.
The students say they're worried about the future of the planet. Now is the time to take a stand.
So what are we going to do about it? The government isn't doing anything.
The San Diego Unified School Board passed a resolution supporting the walkouts, which gave principals guidance to support student organizers. The movement started with Greta Thunberg, a Swedish student who is credited with raising global awareness.
This has really been such a global movement to fight the climate crisis, because as more and more science has come out, we've discovered that we have less and less time to act.
Students say it feels good to rally in solidarity with thousands around the world.
I can't stress enough the point that if we fail to take action, this could be it.
Nate Holmes, 10 News.
Right now, Westview High School students are walking out of class and are taking part in a global climate strike. This is just one of the many walkouts happening around the county, around the world. This is a live look. In fact, not too long ago, a statement came out from the California School Board supporting the students and encouraging schools to allow students to walk out. Now, the strike comes just 3 days before world leaders are set to gather at the United Nations. This is on Monday for an anticipated climate summit.
Yeah, this is a pretty big high school, too. 2,400 students go there. So you can see them walking out here as we speak. This is, of course, a high school that is just north of the 56 in the North County, west of the 15 here in the 92127 area code. So those kids getting out and doing their part as part of climate change here today.